Curious Vedanth, and welcome to season 2 of my podcast. Today, my guest is Aanya Raghunath, who is in 7th grade and writes blogs on equality. She also loves to paint and sing. You can read her blogs on writeoncenter.com. Her art can be seen on her Instagram page. The link to it is in my show notes. Hi Anya, welcome to my show.
Hello Vedant, it's great to be here.
Even I'm excited to interview you. So Anya, I'm curious to know, what does right on center mean?
Right on center is when you can look at both sides, the left on center and right on center, with equality and objectivity. It means that I have no biases and I have an unbiased view. It means that I do not give any preference to any gender, caste, religion, etc. So right on center is basically when you can look at both sides, left of center and right of center, with objectivity.
On your website, I read that you break stereotypes. What does that mean?
That means that I look at small things like colors that people usually think girls like and boys like, and I try to change that mindset by having my own little things. For example, when everyone said that pink is a girl's color, I deliberately told my parents to paint my room blue, which is a breaking of the stereotype.
So you're saying that no color is wrong, like boys can love pink and girls can like blue?
Exactly. There should be no stereotyping that boys like this, girls like this, and that a particular gender looks like this and talks like this. It should all be equal, and everyone should have the freedom of choosing their own favorites, not based on what their gender is.
Okay, that's interesting. What got you thinking about equality as an issue?
So little things around me, such as discrimination and stereotyping, and I realized that no one talks about these things, and I thought that I could open Right on Center, and through posts, artwork, poem, etc., I could display these thoughts and emotions on the internet. And I thought that it's a cool idea because equality is so important, and it's the 20th century, and these things should have stopped by now, but they haven't, and that's why it's important to talk about equality.
What do you believe in?
I believe that the world should accept everyone despite who they are, and they should give everyone the freedom of being who they want, regardless of what gender they have, what religion they have, what caste they come from. That's all irrelevant when it comes to their passions, their hobbies, and they should be looked as an individual and not looked as what their religion and caste is.
So, a Hindu wants to celebrate Christmas. It's not that they can't do it.
Yes, exactly. They should have the freedom of deciding what they want to do. And it shouldn't be like they are put into a box of stereotypes. They should have the freedom of deciding what they believe in and what they want to celebrate, what they want to wear, what they want to, what their ideas and ambitions are. I would like to give an example. For example, in career choices, usually it's associated that boys do engineering and girls do arts and economics, but that's not true. Everyone should have the freedom of choosing what they want to do as a career.
Oh, that's right. I've interviewed a lot of girl engineers, and it was really interesting to interview them. I learned a lot.
Yes, exactly. And I would like to break that stereotype when I grow up and possibly join a field which people think is not for girls.
Okay, let's move on. What can we do to make the world more equitable?
I think it's very important that we hire people based on their talent and not their gender, and that when we hire people, we give them equal wage, because it's very common that men and women have different salaries in the same job in the same company, and that's not fair. And I find it like very appalling that apartheid lasted until 3 decades ago. So I think that needs to change, and we need to kind of say that, okay, this stuff was very, very bad, and that our future should be different from that.
Yeah, I agree. People should not be hired by their skin color, and they should be hired by their talent. I know that you express yourself through art, music, and your blog. Tell us
Yes.
something about your blog.
So my blog, Right on Center, is something that I started about a year or a few months ago. And I used to just write a lot of poetry, and I used to jot down my thoughts about equality. And I thought that all of these things were actually very relevant to the times, and that everyone should be able to see these things, because I don't think people talk about equality much. So I started this blog, Right on Center, and I think it's a great initiative.
So you started this because you wanted people to think about equality more?
Yes, exactly. I think that people need to realize that equality is something that we have still not achieved, and there's still a lot of stereotyping and still a lot of discrimination in our society. So people need to start talking about this and be more vocal about this. And whenever our viewers see some sort of discrimination around them, I think we need to speak up about it.
I didn't know what equity or equality was before I heard of your website and I read it. Okay, so while I was researching for this topic about equality, equity and justice, I came across this example called the wall example. So there's one wall. One side there are three people. One person who can see, one person who can just about see, and one person who cannot see at all. Then on the other side there's a race car track, and a match is happening on. So equality would be the person who can already see gets one stool, person who can just about see gets one stool, and the person who cannot see at all gets one stool. But the person who cannot see at all would maybe just about be able to see. Now, equity. Equity would be the person who can already see no stool, person who can just about see one stool, and the person who cannot see at all gets two stools. Justice is going to be where the wall is demolished and there was maybe a plastic wall or something. We should all aim for equity and justice. That's what I feel.
That's really nice, actually. I think that's like my aim. I think that everyone who reads my website should start thinking about these things. And I think it's great that you started trying to figure out what equality and all was. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Can you recite one of your poems?
Sure. So I had written this poem called The Queen, which has a little bit of chess in it, but at the end, it gives out a great message. I'd like to read it out. My life is like a game of chess. Every move and step is planned. My pieces are on the board, ready to attack. The pawn, or the smallest part of my life, is my own will. It seems really weak, but later, even the pawn can kill. Slowly into the game, all my pawns are gone. I need another piece to depend on. Then, slowly as the game proceeds, my knight is removed. In my case, the fastest thing I possess is my intelligence. I had not planned to use it, yet I took it out, but it got killed. I still had my rook. Carefully, I took it out. It's supposed to go fast and knock everything out. In my life, the rook is like my friends. They clear the way so I can be safe, but even then they end. Now, I resorted to removing my bishop. It was protecting my queen all along. What protects me like this bishop is a nice melody or a song. All I need is my music, a few beats, and I can be better off. It only takes a few notes to save me from my worries. But the bishop too was gone. Two pawns on my board were all that was left, a king and queen side by side. The king sacrificed itself for the queen that survived. So then it came down to the queen, who had zero defense. When checkmate killed her, my queen had died. Let me tell you though, in my very own story, things are different. I don't need a king or any army to save my life. It's high time we stop protecting women. They can save their own life. You see, the thing is, at the end, the queen was the last to die. So basically, this poem, it kind of shows how the society thinks of women as people who need to be protected. And even in a small game of chess, that's reflected. And it shows that like things are different now, things are changing, and they need to change. Women are strong enough, and I think people need to realize.
I totally agree. When are you publishing your next blog and what is it about?
I'm probably going to publish a new post about the same topic that I just spoke of, because I think it deserves more of a discussion about. And I'm going to give out another post about how women are stronger than the world perceives it to be.
Where do you draw inspiration for your art?
So my artwork has a lot of inspiration. The first being online, which is probably the smaller part of my artwork. The second inspiration is from real life, when I look around and I try to paint what's around me. And the biggest inspiration is creativity. So mostly I just try to find thoughts within me and I try to put them on pen and paper, which I think is the best. And most of my works are self-made and self-thought of. So I first have a huge process where I first jot down what I want the painting to be like. Then I bring it down on pen and paper. And I think my abstracts are probably my best work.
Even I like doing art. Sometimes learning and like painting trees, but otherwise I don't paint that much.
Yes, I think art is just something that everyone should try out, because you can just express your thoughts through it. And I think for me, that's very important. All of the things that I do, my posts, my art, my music, they all express my thoughts. And that main root is equality. So I think that it's very important for me to keep painting, because most of my paintings show that I believe in all of my equality and they depict a few of my thoughts. So that's why I think painting is very important for me.
That's interesting. What kind of music are you into?
So music, again, I try to show my thoughts through music. I do my Trinity and I sing my rock and pop and western, and I also do Indian classical music. And even in music, I try to involve equality through my songs. And yeah, that's why I even love to sing a lot.
I play the drums, like the classical drums. It's really fun to play.
Yeah, I think even music is amazing, and that everyone, even if they cannot play an instrument or sing well, they should at least listen to music, because it's a whole new world.
I listen to a lot of music. What kind of music do you like to sing? Like, what are your favorite songs?
Songs, I actually have many favorite artists. There's this great album, Folklore, by Taylor Swift. I listen to that almost every single day on repeat, and I love to sing that. I also really like singing classical music, because I've been learning that from a very early stage of my childhood. Still am, and even that's very fun. I don't enjoy practicing as much as I like singing classical music, but I think it's amazing, and I think that music in general is of many different types, and I enjoy every single type.
Nice. Even I like music. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I still haven't quite decided what I want to be when I grow up, but I know for sure that I'm always going to be a feminist and that I'm always going to have the same values. Professionally, I'd like to break some stereotypes. As I said, for example, like people typically think that engineers are boys and that doctors are girls sometimes, and that arts and commerce is a girl subject. I would like to break that stereotype, and I'm always gonna keep being creative, and I'm gonna have my creative streak going forever.
Can you sing your favorite song for me a little bit?
Okay, sure. I'll sing one of my Trinity examination songs, which I have been practicing lately. I'm still not fully fluent with it, but sure. Every time I try to fly, I fall without my tears. I feel so small. I guess I need you, maybe. And every time I see you in my dreams, I see your face. It's haunting me. I guess I need you, maybe. So this is what I've been practicing nowadays, and it's by Britney Spears.
I really liked it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me here. It's my first ever podcast, and I'm very, very excited. I loved all your episodes. I've been hearing them lately, and congratulations on the show. It's amazing. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming on my show. Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedanth, to get updates on my upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get notified about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedanth wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also listen to my show on vedant.buzzsprout.com and curiousvedant.com. Thank you for listening to Curious Vedanth, and don't forget to rate and leave comments.